Hi, and welcome to another episode of A2SOS's Tech Talks. Now, I am going to talk today about how to use a podcast and why do we use them and what's so great about them. Right now, I'm going to start with the how you use a podcast, how you support a podcast. So the first thing I'm going to show you is a podcast app that comes with an Apple, which is called the Apple Podcast, and it's right there on my screen. If you are looking for it and you can't find it, the best thing to do is to swipe your phone to the left, tap on search, and then enter podcast. And then you can open the podcast just by tapping on the podcast app. Now, most of the time it will come up with Listen Now, this screen right here. And if you have subscribed to podcasts or follow what's called following podcasts, we'll list all the podcasts and if they have an episode coming up or if they've just released something. If you scroll down a little bit, it'll show, hey, maybe you'd like to try these channels. Or maybe you'd like this. It's based on the analytics of what you've clicked on before. But if you haven't listened to anything, it'll probably just list the top podcasts that are out there right now, or the ones that most popular. So if you want to search and try and find a podcast, down at the bottom, you'll see Listen Now, Browse, Library, Search. No, if you know the specific name of the podcast, just tap on Search and then tap on the thing that says All Podcasts. And let's see, we'll search on Act 2. You're on. I don't have to type the whole name, it just comes right up. And then if I tap on that, it will bring up Act 2, You're On, the podcast. So now if I want to see the episodes that are under that particular podcast, I just tap on the icon. And then you can see this list is the main screen for the podcast shows. Now if I scroll down, I can see all the episodes listed here. And after you've listened to a few of them, you can actually put a rating in here that helps support the podcast. And you can also see, if you go to scroll down to the bottom, you'll see a description under the About section, and then there's also some more information underneath that. Well, let's scroll back up to the top, and up at the top here on the right hand side you'll see this little check. That means that I have followed it. If I hadn't followed it already, it would have a plus sign. So if I want to share this show with someone else, I can tap on the three buttons over here on the right hand side. And then I would tap on Share Show, the icon next to it, the square with the arrow pointing up. And this you can use for a lot of applications. That's how you do it on the iPhone. And then send it via message, email, on Facebook. I share it on LinkedIn. However you want to share it and however you want to support it. And just click on the way you want to share it and then follow the instructions. I can always listen to one of the episodes by just tapping on the play button, or tapping, if I want to see what the episode is about, I can just tap on the name of the episode. And then I can scroll and see what the information regarding this episode is all about. It gives you a lot more detail. I can see links within this description that actually send you to the guest's website. I can also see a place where I could subscribe to a newsletter. I could support the show by clicking on Patreon right here and following the instructions. And remember, anytime you tap on one of these things, I'll show you Patreon. It will bring up another window and you can easily follow the instructions on this. And then once you're done, you just hit the word done and it will bring you right back to where you were before, which is great. And now if I scroll up to the top and I want to follow or download this particular episode, I can tap on that little check bar where it is right now. It'll show up as a plus and that will add it. I can actually tap on the bookmark over on the left hand side of the check and that will actually save the episode to see later. Or I could tap on the three dots. Now, if I want to go back to see the other episodes, I'm going to tap on the arrow on the left hand side pointing to the left. And now I'm back at the original list of episodes. Now, if I've saved an episode, I can show you where that is in here. So then I'm going to go back to my library down at the bottom, tap there, and you can see I have shows, I have the things that I've saved, I have things that I've downloaded, and I have this thing called latest episodes. Now, if I want to look at shows, I can see all of the shows that I've actually followed. If I want to look at saved, it would be things that I've saved that either I want to listen to or want to hear later on, or I want to repeat because I might think that it's something I might need to refresh my brain about. I could tap on saved, which is a place you can store podcasts that you really liked, something that you maybe want to listen to later and you haven't had a chance. You can also click on download when you're in a podcast to see. If you click here, normally it would say download. Mine says remove, but because I've already downloaded it. So if you go to downloads, then you can see the ones that you've actually listened to. Those are ones that you might want to go back to at some point and re-listen to. And then there's also the latest episode. So if you want to hear the most recent episode that has been uploaded to a podcast, you can go here. And why do I want to listen to a podcast? Why do I want to get involved in podcasts? Well, they're a great source of information, and let me show you what I mean by that. If I go to again, hit the search in, and then I look and I see, look at all these categories, look at all the wealth of information I have here in front of my fingers. I could listen to comedy podcasts, I could listen to the news, I could listen to true crimes, I could listen to things that are categorized under society and culture, sports, business, religion, health and fitness. I could learn a lot of different things from a podcast. And it's basically, I feel like it's the cable of radio. It's just a great place to learn things and hear stories that may impact you in the future. You're trying to find some podcasts that in these categories that you might be interested in. This is how you use this particular type of app, this podcast app that's produced by Apple. Now, if I swipe out of this, which I'm going to do now, and I wanted to see a different type of app, I could go to my Spotify app here and I could just tap on that. And then I could go to I'm going to go to the home screen, and you can see this is not only allows you to listen to podcasts, but it also has music. Spotify has music and podcasts. So if you were just particularly interested in finding podcasts, you would hit, again, down at the bottom of the screen, there's going to be a search. It may not be in the same spot as it was before. It's in the middle now, so we could hit search, tap on search, and then again, you can see there's all these different things that you could look at, categorize. These are podcasts. If I wanted to look at something else, I could. These are all different music items here, but let's say if I wanted to just look at podcasts, I could tap on podcasts, and then I could see different podcasts that they have available. There's also the same thing as I showed you before in the other app. There's the library app. So it is similar to the previous app we looked at. However, there are functionalities that are different because there's also music involved. So it takes a little bit longer to find the podcast on the Spotify app. But it's also a good place to find everything in one area.
So that's how you get access to a podcast. Please don't hesitate to ask us your tech questions on our social media or send us an email. If you have one, I'm sure somebody else does. Happy exploring, learning, and listening, and stay tuned to next week's Tech Talks on how to organize your photos.